Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to look past the day-to-day headlines and really dig into one of the most powerful and, most predictable forces that's shaping our future. It's kind of like this quiet, slow-moving tidal wave, a huge structural shift that's going to redefine, pretty much everything: our economies, our societies, and our politics for decades to come.
So, what is this unstoppable force? It's not the rise of AI, it's not the latest geopolitical drama, although, to be fair, it connects with both of those. No, it's something way more fundamental, a trend that's already hardwired into the very structure of nearly every single society on Earth. It's demographics. I mean, just look at this chart. It shows the median age for every major region on the planet. And what do you see? Every single line is climbing. There are literally no exceptions. From North America all the way to sub-Saharan Africa, humanity is getting older. And this one, single, synchronized shift is the force that is going to change everything.
So what's driving this, this global graying? How in the world did we get here? Well, it's not just one thing, but actually the combination of two massive and frankly amazing successes of modern development. It's really a two-part story. First, we're having way fewer children. The global fertility rate has been basically cut in half since the 1950s. And second, thanks to these incredible advances in medicine and nutrition, we're living much, much longer. So fewer births and longer lives, those are the twin engines that are driving this great rebalancing and structurally aging our entire planet.
Okay, so that brings us to the economic side of things. Because when the age structure of a society shifts this dramatically, it puts an absolutely immense amount of pressure on the economic models that we've been relying on for generations.
And to really get a grip on that economic pressure, there's one key metric you gotta know: the Old Age Dependency Ratio, or OADR. Now, I know it sounds a little complex, but it's actually super simple. It just measures how many retirees are depending on every 100 working-age people. So you can think of it as a snapshot of the financial burden on the workforce.
And the numbers here are, they're kind of startling. If you look back to 1990, the average for developed countries was about 19 retirees for every 100 workers. Okay, by 2050, that's projected to nearly triple to 53. But just look at Japan. They're the canary in the coal mine for this whole trend. They're on track for 78 retirees for every 100 workers. That isn't just a change, that's a fiscal earthquake.
But here's the thing, Japan isn't some outlier. It's just a preview of what's coming. What we see across all the major economies is the exact same synchronized, steep, upward march. The whole economic model that defined the 20th century is being completely rewritten right before our eyes. So all this demographic pressure, it translates directly into real fiscal pain for governments. It means a smaller and smaller base of taxpayers is left to fund the pensions and healthcare for a much larger elderly population. Systems we all know, like Social Security and Medicare, which were designed in an era of super high birth rates, are now being strained to their breaking point. And that forces some incredibly difficult choices about taxes, benefits, and even retirement ages.
And this financial squeeze, it's not just a budget problem. It forces us to confront the very foundation of our modern welfare state, that social contract between the generations. This quote really gets to the heart of it all. That pay-as-you-go model, where today's workers pay for today's retirees, it only works with a classic population pyramid. Wide at the bottom with lots and lots of young people. But our pyramid is starting to look more like a rectangle. And in some countries, it's actually flipping upside down. The math, it just doesn't work anymore.
Let's just boil it all down to one really stark comparison. Back in 1950, for every one retiree, there were about 8 workers to support them. That's a pretty comfortable ratio. By 2050, that number absolutely collapses to less than 2. That is the unforgiving math at the very heart of this entire challenge. But look, this challenge isn't the whole story. Every great disruption creates new realities, and hidden inside this one is a massive opportunity: the rise of a really powerful new economic force.
So the challenge is clear. We've got immense fiscal pressure, a shrinking workforce, and a social contract that's really strained. The picture, it seems pretty bleak. But what if we just reframe that whole narrative? What if we stop seeing only a rising number of dependents and we start seeing a rising number of experienced, wealthy consumers? All of a sudden, the entire picture starts to change. So, welcome to the silver economy. Just think about this for a second. By the end of this decade, what percentage of global wealth do you think people aged 50 and over are going to control? The answer is staggering, more than 60%. This is not a niche market. It's on its way to becoming the dominant consumer force on the planet, with its own unique priorities around health,
wellness, and financial security.
So for businesses, for entrepreneurs, for investors, understanding this demographic shift isn't just, interesting. It's absolutely essential for identifying that next huge wave of long-term growth.
This creates these really powerful demographic tailwinds for entire sectors. I mean, some are pretty obvious, right? Healthcare, pharma, senior living. But the opportunity goes way deeper, into financial services that have to manage longer retirements, and critically, into technology. Think about things like telemedicine, age tech, and one area in particular, automation.
Let's just focus on that last one for a second. Automation isn't just about corporate efficiency anymore. In an aging world that has fewer and fewer workers, robotics and automation become essential technologies. They become a direct response to labor shortages, a way to boost productivity to help offset the economic drag of that shrinking workforce.
So here's the bottom line. Unlike so many other predictions about the future, this one isn't really a guess. Our demographic destiny is already written in the numbers. The challenges to our 20th century models, they're real and they are unavoidable. But you know what? So are the opportunities for those who are ready to adapt and innovate. The script is already in our hands. The only question is, are we ready to read it?